Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Oblong Polka Dots and my name is Kerr, and on this channel we talk about makeup, skincare, and beauty. So if that's something you're interested in, you have come to the right place. This is part 2 of my makeup collection slash declutter for eyeshadow palettes. This is the second group of the palettes. I pulled everything out of the drawers, and then I have this box right here. So let's get started. This is the, oh my gosh, can I even keep it in frame? This is the Profusion Cosmetics 21 shade palette and brush and Cheers. And I believe I got this a couple of years ago. Let's see if I can open it. Come on. There we go. Alright, so this is what the palette looks like. It has one of those films over it, so you can tell I have not even opened it or used it yet. And I'm going to declutter it because I've had it this entire time and never even once, looked at it. So this is the first one to go. Alright, I just grabbed this Revolution Tropic Twilight Tammy makeup palette. Let me take it out of the box. Okay, so here's the palette, and it's the Tammy X1, and I believe I was watching a video by Too Much Mouth, and she was talking about it, so that's why I grabbed it. I have not even used it yet. It is still new, so I am going to keep it. This one is from BH Cosmetics. It is the Doja Cat palette. I don't typically gravitate towards these giant palettes, you guys, but I saw this one and I decided I had to have it. As you can see, the plastic film is still on it, so I haven't used it yet, and I'm going to keep it. This is the Lorac Unzipped palette. This is the one that is in... shoot. I think this is the original Unzipped palette. This is what it looks like. This palette has been well loved, and I am not prepared to part ways with it yet. I love all of the neutrals and mauve-y rosy tones that are in it and the nice tan, so I'm keeping it. Likewise, here is another beloved Lorac palette. This is actually a repurchase. I think this is my second or third one of these. I love this palette so much. It's one that I gravitate towards constantly. The colors in it are so beautiful. They're a little bit cool toned, some of them are warm, and there's lots of neutrals, and you can make a bazillion looks with this, so I'm going to keep it. This is also from Lorac, and this was a gift, and this palette I have used, but I have not reached for it as much as I've reached for the other two. That being said, I still really love the colors that are in it, and I believe that I will probably reach for it more now that I'm aware of it, so I'm keeping it. This is my Jackie Aina Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, which I have loved to death. This palette is my absolute all-time favorite eyeshadow palette. If I were stuck on a desert island and could only have one palette, this would be the one. And I love this palette so much that right after I bought it and started using it, I went ahead and I purchased a backup. So I'm keeping this one till I've used it to death. And then here I have my backup ready to go. Sorry, it was upside down. I love this packaging too. The embossing is so pretty. And look at that, it's iridescent. Jackie really stuck her foot in this, y'all. This is one of the best palettes you can buy. If you don't have it, I suggest you put together your coin and grab it. So next up I have this Too Faced palette. It is, I believe, the original chocolate bar palette. And this is what it looks like. This is the one where you have to keep the little, oh, I just dug my finger in it. You have to keep the little sleeve on there so you know what the colors are. I really don't reach for this palette at all, but the reason I'm not going to get rid of it is that my fiance, this is one of the first things in terms of makeup that he ever bought for me, so I'm keeping it for sentimental reasons. This one is also from Too Faced. It is the Gingerbread palette. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's in a tin just like the other one. And let's see. I love this packaging, you guys. It's so cute. So for this one, they finally got the picture and they actually went ahead and printed out the names of the colors on the actual palette itself. This is a beautiful palette and I feel terrible, but I have not used it. I bought this and loved it and was like, I'm gonna use it. And I've had it since it came out years ago, and yeah. So I'm gonna part ways with it because I'm hoping that somebody else will actually open it and show love and use it. Alright, so next up we have, this is Juvia's Place. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that this was a gift from my cousin Simone. And this is the Nubian Glow. Taking it out of the box finally. I've taken it out of the box before, but that was just to look at it. And then this is what it looks like. It's so beautiful. Look at those colors. She was on point in getting this for me. If you're watching this, I love you. Thank you. I have not used it yet, but I do plan to. And then likewise, I believe this also was a gift from her, if I recall. And this is the Vanessa palette. And this one is so pretty. Look at this, you guys. Look at this shade right here. Perfectionist. That's beautiful. I love this palette. So pretty. I know I can make really beautiful looks with it. Thank you. And then these two right here, actually, these are both recent purchases. This is the Bronze Rustic palette. And let's see. That's what this one looks like. So you have your corals, and then you have your nice warm cocoa browns, and then your shimmers. So it's 4 mattes and 2 shimmers, and I think that's going to make for a really good travel palette as well, because I think each of these colors stands on their own. So if you want to make a variety of looks, or if you want to just keep it simple, you can do that with this palette. So that's a keep. And then likewise, like I said, this is a recent purchase. This is the Blush Rose palette. And toss that over there. Here's what it looks like. This one is also beautiful. I don't know though if I like this as much as I like the other 3 that I just showed, but I love pinks, and I feel like even though this is more pink instead of mauve pink, I can still do a lot with it. It's got the 4 mattes and 2 shimmers, so I think I can probably work with this, and I'm excited to try it out. And then let's stick with the theme of Juvia's Place. I have the Warrior 3 palette. And you've probably seen this a million times before, but this is what it looks like. I have not used this palette yet, but I know I will because of this color right here. It's called Candace, and I'm not giving up this palette. Even if I only use that color in this palette, it's totally worth it. I also have this one, which is the Warrior. So this was the original Warrior palette. And I have used this one. It's got just beautiful coppers and golds. It's got this really nice light champagne-y color here in the middle. And then Amina, I've used this color several times before. So overall, this is a really beautiful palette. I love this brown right here, Kano. So yeah, keeping this for sure. Sorry, making a ton of noise with this plastic, you guys. And then over here we have the Nubian 2. So I used to have the Nubian 1, and I got rid of it because I just wasn't reaching for it as much as I had when I first bought it. And then I grabbed this one, and I still haven't used this one, but I'm keeping it because I know that I will. This color right here is just gorgeous. It really drew me to the palette, and so did this one right here. So this is Layla, and this is Egypt, and these 2 colors right here are just, they're really unique, and yeah, I'm keeping this. And then more stuff over here in the stack. Just trying to reach around carefully. So this is a Z palette that I made. It is a mix of a whole bunch of different shadows. I know there's MAC in here. I know there's Makeup Geek. I cannot remember the name of the company. I think these are Stilazzi, these big ones. But I'm going to end up decluttering this entire palette because I never reach for it. I never use it. And, you know, it's going to be a waste if it keeps sitting in my drawer. So what I'll do is I'll just get rid of the shadows. I'll clean up the Z palette, and then I'll give the Z palette to someone else that might want to fill it with their own shadows. And the same is true with these. I grabbed a lot of these shades when I went to my very first IMATS, which was in Vancouver years ago. I think that's pretty much when I first started posting to YouTube. But these colors, I believe, are all from Stilazzi. And again, I never ever reach for this. So I'm going to clean it out and give it to someone else, and they can fill it with their own shadows. This is ancient. It is the way that MAC used to sell the empty case so that you could fill it with all your own shadows. I don't use any of these. They are all way, way old and super expired, but I've kept this because of nostalgic reasons. These are the first eyeshadows that I ever worked with, and I cannot part with it. I love this little palette so much. This is what got me into makeup, you guys. And I have some other ones too. I have two other ones specifically that I keep for that exact reason. So this is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. You guys have seen this 10,000 times. I used to use this for, I believe, this shadow, Liar, Mugshot, and I want to say Buzz. Those are the colors that I reach for the most, but I really have not reached for this palette in a very, very long time. So at this point, I'm just keeping it because it's more of nostalgia than anything, but I don't really plan to use it. So yeah, I'll keep it, but I won't use it. And then over here, I have another Naked palette. I actually got a little more use out of this one. This was the Smoky palette. And the colors, or the shades that I really liked in this one were, this is Slanted and Armor and Radar. I think these three shades are the ones that I use the most. I don't even think I reached for like these down the end, and definitely not this one. Are you kidding me? But I really haven't touched this palette in a very long time. However, I'm reluctant to get rid of it because I do like to kind of collect things. So even though I probably won't be using it, I will be holding on to it. And then over here, same thing. This actually was one of the last when they re-released the original Naked palette. That's what this is. It's not opened. I don't plan to use it. I'm just keeping it because it's part of my collection and it's part of the nostalgia for makeup. So yeah. And then this one right here, this is the Pat McGrath Labs. Oh shoot, I should not tip that over because there's a broken shadow in here. Shoot. I can't remember the name of this palette, but you guys probably know what it is. I will add it. But when I got this palette, when it arrived to me, this shade right here was broken. I was so pissed because I'm like, I spent all this money on this palette. It's not her fault though. Obviously, something happened when it was shipping. But either way, this is a really beautiful palette. The formula is extraordinary. I know it looks like I have not touched it, but I have. I just don't touch it very often. I am definitely keeping this palette though. It's beautiful. And then over here, I have the Urban Decay. This is the Born to Run palette. And I have never used this before. I have it. I think I'm going to love it. I just haven't used it. And I bought this years ago. I have a really bad habit of like buying palettes and then never using them because I use the same 2 or 3 over and over and over again and just neglect my entire collection. So it ends up looking like everything's brand new because essentially it is. But I'm keeping this because I do plan to use it. I'm going to make myself use it. So yes. Let's move on to this box. There's, yeah, let's see. Let's break this down a little bit. Make it a little bit easier for me by shoving some stuff out. So This right here is from Lorac. It is the Pro Metal palette. I bought this when it first came out. It's nothing but metallics, and I had used it quite a bit. I'm sure you can see, but I'm going to declutter it because I'm just not going to reach for a palette anymore that's all metallics. This is from ColourPop. It is Just My Luck. This is part of their monochromatic collection. And oh my gosh, I always have so much trouble opening these. How about you guys? So this is the greens. And as you can see, I have not even touched it, even though green is my favorite color. I just haven't figured out a way to actually work with this palette at all. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter it and give it to someone else that can, you know, maybe they'll have a stroke of luck. Ha ha ha. Okay, it's a bad joke. This one, on the other hand, I have used. It's my Pleasure palette. Pinks and purples, jewel tones, things like that, wines and berries. I'm always going to end up using those because those are my favorite tones. But this is what it looks like. And I love this little palette. It is awesome. I think the 9-pan palettes are perfect. They're so easy to work with. You don't get overwhelmed. It's got a nice mix of mattes and shimmers. It's even got that chunky glitter there in the middle and on the side. And yeah, I like this and I'm keeping it. And then we also have here the Ooh La La. And again, it's pinks. So if it's pinks, I'm probably going to use it, right? This one I dropped. And I don't know if I put the colors back correctly. I have no idea. But like, probably I was doing a look one day. I think I was in a hurry and I dropped it. So that was that. But I love this palette. So I'm going to keep it because I do get use out of it. It's the perfect little pink palette. And it's really good for traveling as long as you don't drop it. This one right here is from Morphe. It is the Artistry palette. And this one is 9J, Just a Crush. And these are purples and mauves and pinks. And I just dropped the little plastic thing. It has all the names on it. Anyways, I have used this palette, even though it may look like I have not. I've definitely used it, and I do love it. I think my favorite shade in the palette is this color right here. So yeah, keeping this. This is also a good little travel palette. Again, I wish that they wouldn't do this thing where they like put the shadow names on the plastic, because then you're forced to like save it. I don't know. End of spiel. So I have this neon palette from Huda Beauty. I have tried to work with this palette, and I am just, it's not going to work. So I'm going to declutter this one. Someone out there is going to be able to rock this. It's just, it's not me. I'm not the one. So we have another little stack right here. Let's start with this. This is from, I believe, JCat. No, who's this from? Yeah, this is from JCat Beauty. And it's called Dia y Noches, or Dia and Noches, or Noche, Dia and Noche. I don't know. And to say it right, it's Dia y Noche, right? So, anyways, this palette is adorable. I don't know why it's upside down. Let's take it out of the packaging. That's my theme, you guys. Take it out of the packaging. Take it out. Take it out. Let's toss the box over there because we're not going to use it. Okay, so this is what the palette looks like. Let's open it up. Again, with the purples and pinks. I know, but you know what? I love it. This is my wheelhouse. It's my thing. I saw a couple other people online using it, and I thought, I could do that. And I believe that this palette was less than 15 bucks. I think it was like 10 bucks. So yeah, I just bought this recently, so I will be keeping it. This one I also bought recently. Of them, though, I do plan to keep this box because it's so dang beautiful. This is from ColourPop. It's the Sonic Bloom palette. Let me open it up for you. The box and the palette have the same embossing on them, but I just feel like I should keep the box because it's so pretty. This is what the palette looks like. Again, lots of browns, tans, neutrals, but then you have that really beautiful pop of pink, and of course, the green is what drew me in, right? This is a lovely palette, and I can't wait to use it for spring. All right, so next we have two palettes. One I had on my wish list for like 100 years, and then the other one I didn't even know they made. So they're both from Persona Cosmetics, and they're the Identity palettes. So this is Identity, and the other one's called Identity 2. So let's look at this one first. I've had this on my wish list for, I don't know, probably ever since she came out with it, which was a few years ago. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago by now. Maybe longer. I don't know. Either way, this is what it looks like. Ta-da! It's a bunch of neutrals. You've got lots of mattes and some satin shades in there, and this is the kind of palette that I enjoy using every day for work. I think that they're easy to work with. It's not over the top, and you can still look classy and stylish, and I can't wait to use them. So, like I said, I just bought this one. Just haven't used it yet. I'm going to toss the box because I have this bad habit of keeping boxes. And then this one is the Identity 2 palette. So let's take this out and I'll show you what it looks like. They're hardly distinguishable except for the fact that the Identity 2 palette has a kind of creamy beige outside, whereas the original has kind of a milky white. So that's how you can tell the difference if you're not reading the actual label. So the second one is definitely, I don't know, I think she probably stepped out of her comfort zone with this because these are all really bright colors. They're not bright like, you know, bright, but they're definitely not, I'm guessing they're not in her wheelhouse. I'm thinking maybe she just kind of pushed the boundaries and decided to do something different. And I'm so glad she did because these colors are absolutely gorgeous. These are just lovely jewel tones. You got the gold there in the middle. You have this really beautiful color here on the bottom called Empowered. So yeah, I am excited. I really am so glad that I got these palettes, and I have the feeling they'll be in my collection for a long time to come. Okay, moving along. So here we have, what is this one? This is the Wet n Wild Bretman Rock palette. And see what it looks like. So for this one, I didn't take the plastic off of it yet because I haven't even used it. But I do want to keep this because I do plan to use it. I think I can probably get some really good looks using these three shades right here, or even this one, and this one. So I do want to try it out. I've had it for a long time. I just haven't opened it yet. Please don't judge me, you guys. Like I said before, I just get trapped using like the same palettes over and over again. This is from LA Girl. I just bought this maybe a month ago, something like that. The cover here, it's covered in glitter, and the name of the palette is the, what is this called? It's an 18 color eyeshadow palette, but I'm not sure of the name. So maybe Holidays right here. So this is what the palette looks like. It's pretty heavy too. This is really sturdy. Their packaging is quite solid. Hold on. Here we go. Alright, so this is what the palette looks like. And the colors are definitely holiday colors. You have lots of emeralds. You have that jewel tone blue there. Lots of chunky glitters, but you do have a nice mix of tan mattes. So it looks like this whole little section right here coming down this way, these are all mattes and they're all like flesh tone. So I think I'm going to get some good use out of this palette. All right. And then, so hold on, let me scoop my chair up a little bit. All right. So this is LA Girl as well. This is the VIP Desert Dream palette. And the packaging on these, you guys, wow, I'm really impressed. For like a $15 palette, this packaging is out of control. I'm just going to tilt it up a little bit because this mirror is huge. It's got the most gigantic mirror, you guys. Same size as the palette, but this is what the shades look like. They are very pinky, orangey kind of colors. You have this bright mustard yellow here at the top. I haven't even used it yet. Like I said, I just bought these. So I am looking forward to making a look with this, and I'm definitely going to do a look with these on YouTube, so you'll get to see it. And then here's another one from LA Girl. This one is the LA Girl Pro Artistry eyeshadow palette. And let's see, open this one for you. Okay, there we go. So that's what this one looks like. I think I really like the blues that are in it, but in particular this one called Graceful really caught my eye. And I just thought, let me try making a look with this palette. So yeah, keeping it. And then we have this one here. This one is called Hey Hey Vacay. And it's got like a really nice little kind of foliage montage type thing on the front. And then this is what the inside looks like. Lots of earth tones. I really like these greens down here. I love these browns, these nice deep chocolatey browns. And then you have like all of this orange and terracotta, which are colors I really gravitate towards. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using this one as well. And then I have another LA Girl Pro Artistry palette. This one is called Mastery. And this one has more pinks and kind of, yeah, like pinks and purpley, sort of muted purpley tones. Yeah, I mean, you see it. So I just got this one too, and I can't wait to make some looks with this as well. I think this one will be really easy because these are all shades that I typically gravitate towards anyways. And then I think I have one, yeah, one more. Whoa, 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 don't fall. Okay, so I have one more here. This one is called the Festy Bestie. And again, all of these have really sturdy, nice packaging. This one is by far the colorful, bright, cheery one out of all those palettes. This is the one that, you know, you can use when you are going out to festivals and, you know, music shows or whatever the young people do these days. So that's why I grabbed this one. I just think it's a nice variety of shades. Hi, hold on. I'm almost done, okay? I'll be done in a few minutes. I'll come get you. All right, so this one is the It's My Ray Ray palette from BH Cosmetics. And I remember wanting this palette so bad when I found out it came out that I stalked it. I looked for this palette for a long time. And then it finally came back in the store and I was like, oh my God, I have to get this palette. Oh, I like freaked out and went down to Ulta and I got it. And I'm so glad that I did because look at it. I mean, come on. You have basically all your primary colors there and you have lots of nudes there at the top for your matte shadows to be able to blend everything in. And yeah, it's beautiful and I'm glad I grabbed it. It's also small and just easy to reach for, right? So this is the BH Cosmetics Paris palette. They made a whole series of these and I bought a bunch. So that's what this one looks like. I think that what really made me gravitate towards this palette was this color right here, Tuileries, I think is how you pronounce it. Everything's in French, so you have Seine, Eiffel Tower, Pompidou, Moulin Rouge, Grand Palais, Arc de Triomphe, Notre Dame, Champs-Élysées, Louvre, all that fun stuff, Versailles. So yeah, I just think this is a really beautiful romantic palette and I will be using this one as well. This one is the Love in London. Each of their packaging, what's really throwing me off about this whole like series is some of them have sleeves and some don't. I just thought that was really weird. But anyways, this is the Love in London, and of all of the ones in the series, I think this is the one that seemed kind of like a little lackluster. I feel like a lot of the colors are just kind of a different variation of each other. But that being said, this is a palette that I can grab and use for work and not have to really think too much when it's like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm trying to throw some face on. So I feel like that made it totally worth it. And this color right here I think is going to make a really beautiful transition shade, Piccadilly. So I am glad that I bought it. And we have this one is Summer in Saint-Tropez. Nice, bright, cheery palette. Definitely summer vibes here. I love the little umbrellas on top. I thought that was a really nice motif. And this is what the palette looks like. Each of these comes with mirrors, so I'm trying not to blind you with it. I love this. I think it's bright and cheery and colorful. Look at these right down here. Look at this red. That is a red red. It is a nice deep clay red. Nice bright pink. You have this really beautiful turquoise color here. Pampleon, Jet Set, Sizzle. So yeah, I think that this will be a fun palette for the summertime. So next we have the Beautiful in Barcelona. And that's what this one looks like. I do like the fact that it looks as if the cover looks to me like it has kind of those mosaics that you would find. Okay, so as I was saying, I really like the kind of design here. It looks like the tiles that you would find maybe in the old buildings that are there, and this is what the palette looks like. It's very, it's so mellow, yet it has really beautiful jewel tones in it. I don't know how to describe this. Look at this color right here, this shade Flamenco and Picasso, Azul, Dulce. Look at this one right here, Mediterranean. You got Enchanting. I mean, this whole palette to me looks like a lot of singles that were put together. You can wear each of these shades as just a mono shade, just one shade on your lid. And then throw on some like nice mascara or even some lashes, a little eyeliner, and you're good to go. So this palette to me is perfect. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Okay, and then we have, let's see. So for this one, we have the Smitten in Switzerland. This is the only one where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I really love the colors. I was really inspired again by the greens right down here. You have Mount Rigi and you have Mountain. Nightfall looks like a really nice matte black. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I think that I'll figure it out. Like I can see that these two go together for sure, but like what am I going to pair this with? Another green? Sure, why not, you know? Glacier Express, this is my kind of shade right here, and so is Alps. So yeah, I'm excited to use this. I'm just like, okay, how am I gonna do this? And then you have this kind of like extra, this orange, this Matterhorn. Like, what do I do with that? So yeah, I'm excited. I think that this palette will challenge me a little bit, but I'm glad. Everybody needs a challenge, right? How else are you gonna grow? All right, so we're down to the last two palettes. This is the Desert Oasis. I don't think I've actually used this palette yet, you guys. This one. Pretty sure I haven't used this yet. Maybe I did. Nope, I didn't. So this one I grabbed because I thought it was a really nice all-around palette. You have this really giant mirage here that you can use as a highlight. You have two colors here, Dune and Canyon, that look like they're really good transition colors. So overall, I thought this is actually a good palette to travel with if you wanted to have a little something extra, you know, kind of zhuzh it up a bit. It's a little bit big, but not too big. Probably you can just tuck it into your bag on the side and it's going to be okay. But I just love the kind of tonal browns and tans and earthy sort of feel to it. I think they really nailed it with the idea of a desert oasis or desert colors. So I'm really glad that I grabbed this. And then I have one palette left here. I can't believe it. I had no idea I had this many BH Cosmetics palettes, you guys. I'm really surprised. So this one is the Sylvia Ganni palette. And one thing I really like about this palette is that it has this really lovely embossing on it, much like the Jackie Aina palette with Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I really like how they have this little kind of gold detail here on the edge. It's just very classy. It just feels classy, I mean. So this is what the palette looks like. And of course, all of these colors are my wheelhouse, especially this section right here. This is something I can work with no problem, right? I think there's maybe only one or two colors in the palette I'm not going to use, which would be Underrated and Wolf. Otherwise, everything else is something that I can work with. I just haven't used it yet. I know, surprise, surprise, I have not used it, but I am glad that they included a matte black because you do need something to kind of tone these colors down a little bit, smoke it out some. So yeah, I think that's it, you guys. I can't believe it. I have given away tons and tons of palettes over the past few years, and I think that I was able to really pare down my collection considerably. The one thing I did not include in this particular two-part series are any of my luxury palettes, like no Chanel, there's no Dior, there's no Tom Ford. I'm not going to declutter those. I will do those in a separate video when I do hauls and stuff, but just know those are staying. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Let's figure out how many palettes we decluttered. Let's take a look. So, let's see. We have these, and we have these. All right, so of the palettes that I decluttered, this is it right here between the first and second videos. So that's like what, 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So out of all those palettes, I have only decluttered 17. But again, I've given away so many over the years that I easily have given away at least, 60, 70 palettes. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.